Alex adjusted the strap of his small pack and looked out the viewport of the spaceship. Below him stretched a world unlike anything he had ever imagined. Letheria was vast, with cities that glimmered like jewels under the sun, and rivers that glowed faintly as if carrying light instead of water. He could see strange flying creatures moving between the towers, and some plants shimmered in colors he had no names for. His heart pounded with excitement and fear. "This is it," he whispered to himself. "The world of the alien queen." Letheria was famous across the galaxy. Rumors said that Queen Zira, its ruler, was one of the most intelligent beings ever known. She had ruled for hundreds of years and had mastered both science and diplomacy. Humans rarely visited her planet, and even fewer were allowed to meet her in person. Alex had been chosen for this mission because of his sharp mind, his calm nature, and his ability to adapt to unusual situations. The landing was smoother than Alex had expected. The spaceship touched down on a wide platform that seemed to float above a forest of tall, crystalline trees. The air smelled fresh but faintly metallic, and the light here seemed softer, almost like the sky itself was glowing. As the ramp descended, Alex noticed movement. Guards, tall, strong, and covered in elegant armor, stood silently, their eyes glowing faintly. He could feel their stare, measuring him, studying him. "Welcome to Letheria," said a smooth, calm voice. Alex turned to see a young official approaching. He had a kind face but sharp, calculating eyes. "I am Liarem, one of the Queen's advisors. Follow me. The Queen wishes to see you immediately." Alex swallowed his nervousness and nodded. He had prepared for this, but the reality of standing before a being like Queen Zira made his hands tremble slightly. The advisors led him through a series of corridors that seemed alive. Walls pulsed faintly with light, and the floors hummed softly under his feet. Occasionally, a small door opened, revealing chambers full of devices and tools that Alex could not recognize. Each seemed more advanced than anything humanity had achieved. Finally, they arrived at the throne room. Alex paused outside the massive doorway, taking in the scene. The room was enormous, with ceilings so high they disappeared into shadows. Bioluminescent plants lined the walls, casting soft, multicolored light. The throne itself was carved from a single crystal, shimmering in blues and purples. And there she was, Queen Zira. She was taller than any human, with smooth, iridescent skin that reflected light in subtle patterns. Her eyes were large and bright, golden with flecks of green, and they seemed to look straight into Alex's thoughts. Her presence was calm yet powerful, like standing near a mountain that also seemed to breathe. Around her stood a few guards, silent and imposing. "Alex of Earth," the Queen said, her voice melodic and gentle. "You have traveled far. Welcome to Letheria." "Thank you, Your Majesty," Alex replied, bowing slightly. "It is an honor to be here." Zira studied him carefully, tilting her head. "I have heard of humans," she said softly. "I have observed your kind across the stars. Some are clever. Some are brave. Some are foolish. Tell me, Alex, which kind are you?" Alex's pulse quickened. He realized that this was a test, not of strength or skill, but of mind and character. "I will do my best to prove that humans can be clever and brave, Your Majesty," he said confidently. The Queen's lips curved into the faintest of smiles. "We shall see." The audience ended shortly after that. Alex was escorted to a guest chamber that overlooked the glowing city. From his window, he could see floating bridges, rivers that sparkled like liquid diamonds, and citizens walking on paths suspended in midair. The view made his heart race with wonder. Over the next few days, Alex was given a tour of the city and its wonders. He saw libraries filled with books and devices that seemed to record knowledge in light instead of paper. he watched machines that built themselves and gardens where plants moved gently as if they were alive in more ways than one. Everywhere he went, the citizens of Litheria watched him with curiosity. They had never seen a human move among them so freely, and some whispered to each other about how unusual he seemed. Alex struggled to understand their customs. Simple gestures could have different meanings, and the way they communicated often. Combined words, light signals, and even subtle changes in posture. But he learned quickly, using observation and logic. Every day, he grew more confident. One afternoon, Alex found himself in a hall filled with strange, glowing panels. Several Litherian scientists were gathered around a machine that flickered unpredictably. They had tried for days to understand its function but had failed. Alex stepped forward hesitantly, studying the device. He noticed patterns they had missed. Small, irregularities in the pulses of light. With careful adjustments and reasoning, he corrected the errors. The machine hummed steadily, as if it recognized success. The scientists stared at him, astonished. One whispered to another, "This human. He may be remarkable." Word of Alex's success reached Queen Zira quickly. She appeared in the hall silently, watching him with her golden-green eyes. He felt her gaze, not as a threat, but as pure curiosity. For the first time, Alex felt a spark of connection with the queen. "You are clever," Zira said, her voice soft. "Few humans have such understanding. You may be different." Alex felt a mixture of pride and nervousness. Different could mean many things on Litheria, most of them unpredictable. But something in her tone suggested interest, not danger. That night, as Alex lay in his chamber, he stared out at the city. He realized that this was only the beginning. Meeting the queen, seeing her world, and earning even a small fraction of her respect was a rare honor. He understood that the real challenge was yet to come, not surviving the city or the customs, but understanding the mind of Litheria's most powerful being and proving that humanity, against all odds, could inspire respect and admiration. And somewhere deep inside, Alex felt a thrill of anticipation. Soon, he would meet the queen alone. And when that happened, he knew that his courage, intelligence, and humanity would be tested in ways no one on Earth could imagine. The next morning, Alex awoke to a soft glow filtering through the crystalline walls of his guest chamber. Outside, the city of Litheria shimmered in the early light, revealing colors and patterns he had never seen before. The rivers glowed like molten silver, and the floating bridges reflected a kaleidoscope of hues. Even after a full day in the Queen's palace, Alex felt a mix of awe and nervous anticipation. Today, he would meet more of the Litherian court. Liarum, the Queen's advisor, appeared promptly at the door. "Alex," he said, his voice calm but firm, "Queen Zira wishes for you to accompany her to the council hall. You are to observe, and perhaps assist in solving a matter of importance." Alex nodded. He had been preparing for challenges like this since leaving Earth. But he knew that Litherians thought differently. Their minds worked in ways humans could barely imagine, and any mistake could seem careless or even offensive. He followed Liarum through corridors filled with subtle, shifting lights. He had grown accustomed to the soft hum of the palace, but every new room still made his senses reel. The council hall was vast, larger than the throne room. Panels of glowing information lined the walls, showing maps of Litheria, complex data, streams, and the movement of countless citizens across the planet. At the center of the hall stood a massive device that pulsed with energy. Around it were a group of Litherian scientists, each gesturing and speaking rapidly in a combination of light and sound. Alex could understand fragments, enough to sense that they were discussing a malfunction in the device. "Alex," Liarem said quietly. The Queen believes that humans may approach problems differently. Watch closely and assist if you can. Alex stepped forward carefully. The device appeared complex, a network of light filaments and energy nodes. He crouched to study the patterns. To him, it seemed chaotic at first, but then he noticed a rhythm. A pattern repeated every few cycles, slightly off each time. He realized that the error wasn't random, it was a subtle misalignment caused by the way the nodes interacted. Taking a deep breath, Alex suggested adjustments, explaining his reasoning in simple terms. The Letherians around him paused. Few humans had ever attempted to correct one of their devices. After a tense moment, they implemented his suggestion. The device stabilized, glowing steadily without flicker. The room fell silent. Then one scientist whispered, "Remarkable. He sees what we cannot." Another nodded, his eyes wide with respect. Alex stood, heart racing as he felt a presence behind him. Queen Zira had entered the hall silently, her gaze fixed on him. The soft glow of her skin reflected in the pulsing lights of the device. "You observe well," she said softly, almost as if testing him with her words. "Few humans could see the pattern in such a complex system." "Thank you, Your Majesty," Alex replied, bowing slightly. He felt a surge of pride, but also knew this was only a small part of her challenge. The Queen nodded, then motioned for him to follow her. Guards remained at the edges of the room, watching closely, but she walked without fear, leading Alex into a corridor lined with floating panels and flowing light. "I am curious, Alex," she said as they walked, "about your species. Humans often succeed in unexpected ways, but you are young and untested. Tell me, why do you think humans can endure hardships that would stop others?" Alex considered his answer carefully. "I think humans survive because we adapt. We learn quickly from mistakes and use creativity to solve problems. Even when we are weak or unprepared, we find ways to succeed. It is not strength alone that guides us, but determination and intelligence combined." Zyra's eyes glimmered with interest. "Adaptability, yes. Letherians often rely on careful planning and precision. We value perfection and long-term stability. But humans, you thrive in chaos. You find solutions where none exist." "That is rare, even among advanced species." Alex felt a thrill. The Queen was not only listening but studying him. Each word weighed as much as a test, each sentence a measure of his intelligence and character. He realized that to impress her, he had to show not only skill, but wisdom, patience, and insight. For the next several days, Alex participated in more challenges. He studied Letherian technologies, helped solve complex problems, and observed the court. He noticed subtle things the Letherians overlooked, patterns in energy flows, inconsistencies in reports, small details in machinery. Slowly, he gained the respect of several advisors. Some began to seek his opinion in private, whispering ideas and theories they had not shared with others, but not everyone welcomed him. A few members of the court were suspicious. They viewed humans as primitive, unpredictable, and even dangerous. They questioned whether a human should be allowed so close to the Queen, and some plotted to undermine his credibility. Alex noticed their glances, their whispered comments, but he remained calm. He had learned that patience and intelligence could overcome fear and prejudice. One afternoon, the Queen sent a message directly to him. The guards were ordered to wait elsewhere, and he was invited to the royal gardens. This was unusual. He had never been allowed to be alone with the Queen before. His heart pounded as he walked through halls filled with soft, shifting lights and delicate floating platforms. When he reached the gardens, he saw Zira standing among the glowing plants, her eyes reflecting the colors around her. The air was fragrant and warm, and the bioluminescent flowers seemed to lean slightly toward her, as if recognizing her presence. "You have learned quickly," Zira said, her voice gentle. "You observe, adapt, and understand. But knowledge alone is not enough. The mind and heart must work together. Tell me, Alex, what drives humans to succeed against impossible odds?" Alex thought carefully. "Hope, Your Majesty. Humans have hope. Even when we do not know the outcome, we believe in a future we can shape. We may fail, but we try again, and that is what sets us apart." Zira studied him silently, her gaze deep and thoughtful. "Hope? Yes, that is a quality we often overlook. Perhaps humans are more than you appear." Alex felt a spark of pride, but also a sense of responsibility. The Queen's attention was not casual. Her curiosity could change the fate of humans in the galaxy. He realized that this opportunity, this trust, was rare and fragile. One mistake could close the door forever. As he left the gardens and returned to his chambers, Alex understood that his mission had changed. He was no longer just an observer or visitor. He was a representative of humanity's courage, intelligence, and potential. Every action, every word, every thought mattered. And somewhere deep in the palace, Queen Zira was already planning the next test, the next challenge. Alex knew it would not be simple, but he also felt ready. For the first time, he realized that humans had qualities that even the most advanced civilizations could admire, respect, and perhaps one day learn from. The next evening, Alex waited in his chamber, the soft glow of Letheria's twin moons reflecting on the walls. He had been summoned again to the royal gardens. What made his heart race was that this time the Queen had sent her guards away. He would be completely alone with Zira, the most powerful being in the galaxy. As he walked through the palace corridors, Alex noticed how different this invitation felt. The usual watchful eyes were absent. The air was quieter, the lights softer. Every step he took felt heavier, as if the weight of responsibility pressed on him. This was not a test of strength or skill, but of character, judgment, and composure. When he entered the royal gardens, he paused. The space was breathtaking. Bioluminescent flowers swayed gently in a breeze that seemed to move without air. Small, glowing creatures floated lazily above the crystal paths, leaving trails of light behind them. Waterfalls cascaded in slow motion, glowing softly as they fell into pools that shimmered like liquid starlight. And there, standing near a circle of radiant plants, was Zira. Her eyes, golden with flecks of green, fixed on him. There was no guard nearby, no one to watch or judge his actions. Just the two of them, alone in this surreal space. Alex bowed respectfully, though he could feel his pulse racing. "Alex," Zira said, her voice calm and warm. "You have learned, quickly, and you have proven that humans can think in ways even Letherians do not. But intelligence alone is not enough to understand the universe. You must also understand people, creatures, cultures, and even yourself." Alex nodded. "I will try, Your Majesty." She gestured for him to walk with her along a path lined with glowing plants. The air was filled with soft sounds, like the music of the garden itself. As they moved, Alex noticed that the Queen's attention was not just on him, but on everything around them. She seemed aware of the smallest details, the way light reflected on leaves, the rhythm of the water, the patterns of floating creatures. "You humans are curious," she said thoughtfully. "Even in dangerous situations, you explore. You take risks to learn and to improve. Letherians, for all our wisdom, often stay within limits. We fear mistakes, and mistakes can cost us greatly. But humans, you embrace them. Alex felt a thrill of pride, but kept his tone humble. We learn from mistakes, Your Majesty. We also hope that one day our efforts will lead to better understanding and success. That is what drives us, even when we fail. Zira nodded as if considering each word. Hope, determination, creativity. These are qualities that have carried humans far, even across the stars. And yet I wonder, are you aware of how rare these qualities are in the galaxy? Alex shook his head. Not until I came here. On Earth, we think our problems are big. But meeting Letherians and seeing your technology, it makes me realize how small we are. But it also shows me that even small beings can make a difference if they try and learn. The Queen's lips curved into a faint smile. Indeed, even a small spark can ignite great change. That is why I'm curious about humans. You survive, adapt, and thrive where others fail. Perhaps there is something for Letheria to learn from you. Alex's mind raced. He realized that this was more than a conversation. The Queen was testing him, not with puzzles or devices, but with ideas. She wanted to see how he thought, how he reasoned, how he understood both himself and others. Every answer mattered. They walked in silence for a few moments, listening to the soft hum of the gardens. Then Zira stopped near a pool of glowing water. She looked at Alex intently. Tell me, Alex, what do you value most about being human? Alex paused, considering. I think it is our ability to feel, to care for others, to imagine new possibilities, to hope for a better future. Even when we face danger, we do not give up. We keep learning, keep growing. That, I believe, is our greatest strength. The Queen's gaze softened slightly. Feeling empathy? Yes. Letherians often struggle with emotion. We rely on reason, logic, and structure. But you humans, your hearts guide your minds, not just your senses. That is rare and fascinating. Alex smiled faintly. It is not always easy, Your Majesty. Sometimes emotions lead us into trouble. But they also give us courage. Without hope or care for others, we would not try to overcome the impossible. Zira studied him for a long moment. Then, unexpectedly, she asked, And do you ever doubt yourselves? Alex nodded. All the time. But doubt can be useful. It makes us question, learn, and improve. Without doubt, we might never try to do better or understand more. The Queen's smile widened just a little. You think carefully, Alex. That is rare. Many humans act too quickly without reflection. You combine thought with action, which is impressive. As the conversation continued, Alex began to feel a connection with the Queen. Not a friendship, he was far from that, but a mutual respect. She was testing him, yes, but also teaching him. He began to understand Letheria in a new way, not just through its technology or customs, but through the mind of its ruler. After some time, Zira led him to a quiet corner of the garden where a small waterfall fell into a luminous pond. The water reflected their figures, but the light seemed to make them both look taller, stronger, and wiser. You humans have potential, she said softly. Not just on your planet, but in the galaxy. Many species underestimate your kind, but I do not. I see what you can do, Alex. I wonder if humanity can be more than you imagine. Alex felt a mixture of pride and responsibility. The Queen's words were not empty praise. They carried weight. To impress her, to earn her respect, was more than personal achievement. It meant proving that humans were capable of greatness, even to beings far more advanced. As the night deepened and the glow of the gardens grew brighter, Zira finally spoke again. You have done well, Alex. You have shown intelligence, courage, and hope. But the galaxy is full of challenges, and your qualities will be tested. Remember this. Always observe, always learn, always hope. That is what makes humans exceptional. Alex bowed deeply, feeling both humbled and inspired. "I will remember, Your Majesty. I promise to honor humanity in everything I do." Zira nodded and motioned toward the path leading back to the palace corridors. "Return now. Rest and prepare. The next days will bring new opportunities to prove yourself." As Alex left the gardens, he glanced back once. The queen remained there, her eyes thoughtful, her figure radiant in the soft glow. He realized that this was only the beginning. The tests ahead would be more challenging, the stakes higher, but he felt ready. For the first time, he truly understood that humans, though ordinary on many worlds, could shine brightly in the eyes of even the most advanced beings. Walking back to his chamber, Alex's mind was alive with possibilities. He had learned that intelligence, courage, and hope were not just traits, they were tools. Tools that could change minds, inspire civilizations, and perhaps one day alter the course of the galaxy. And somewhere in the royal gardens, Queen Zira smiled, knowing that this human might be more than a visitor. He might be the spark that reminded her and her people of what extraordinary beings humans could be. The days following Alex's private walk in the royal gardens were some of the most intense of his life. Queen Zira had begun inviting him to participate in more advanced discussions and experiments within the palace. Each session challenged his understanding not only of technology and science, but also of diplomacy, strategy, and philosophy. Alex could feel the queen watching him closely, gauging his intelligence, his judgment, and his character. One morning, Liarim approached him with a message from the queen. "Alex," the advisor said, his tone serious but respectful, "the queen requests your presence in the Hall of Knowledge. She wishes to discuss the Letherian archives with you." The Hall of Knowledge was enormous, with ceilings high enough to disappear into shadows. Hundreds of floating panels displayed information, maps, calculations, diagrams, histories, and theories. Alex felt overwhelmed at first, but he quickly remembered that humans excelled in adaptability. He scanned the panels, noticing connections and patterns that the Letherians had not fully recognized. Queen Zira entered silently, her presence immediately commanding attention. She moved among the panels, observing Alex's actions. "You humans think differently," she said almost to herself. "You see patterns where we see chaos, solutions where we see problems. Explain your thought process, Alex." Alex took a deep breath. "Your Majesty, when I look at these panels, I try to understand the purpose of each piece, and then how they connect. I notice repeated cycles, deviations, and potential outcomes. By observing the patterns, I can predict what might happen next or identify hidden problems." Zira nodded thoughtfully. "Yes, you do not simply analyze data. You reason, predict, and adapt. That is rare in the galaxy. Many species depend solely on memory or instinct. Humans, you combine thought, creativity, and intuition. Fascinating." The queen guided him to a series of interactive panels that displayed the planet's energy grids. A subtle flaw had been troubling Letherian engineers for weeks, a problem that prevented maximum efficiency in energy distribution. Alex studied the grids carefully, noticing irregular flows and minor misalignments. "I believe these nodes are misaligned," he said, pointing to a sequence of glowing points. "If you adjust them in this order, it should stabilize the flow." The queen's scientists exchanged uncertain glances but followed his instructions. Slowly, the grids balanced, energy flowing smoothly throughout the panels. A soft hum filled the room, a sound of recognition and success. Zira's gaze met Alex's, her expression calm but impressed. "Few humans have ever corrected a Letherian system," she said. "Few beings have even attempted. You think in ways that challenge and expand our understanding." Alex felt both pride and humility. He realized that his success was not just personal. It reflected humanity itself. He was a representative, a small ambassador of human potential. His species had been underestimated for centuries, but here, in the presence of the most advanced beings he had ever known, he had proven that humans could compete intellectually on the highest level. Over the following days, the Queen and Alex began a series of discussions that went beyond technology. They explored philosophy, ethics, and history. Alex was fascinated by Letherian methods of problem-solving, and Zira was intrigued by human ideas of adaptability, courage, and empathy. "You see, Alex," Zira said one afternoon in the library, "Letherians are cautious. We calculate every possible outcome before taking action. Humans, you act, then adjust. That is why you survive in unexpected situations. Your courage and creativity complement your reasoning." Alex nodded. "On Earth, we often face uncertainty. We may lack perfect knowledge, but we rely on observation, learning, and hope. That helps us overcome challenges that might seem impossible." The Queen's golden green eyes shone with interest. "Hope. Yes. That is a quality Letherians rarely rely on. We depend on knowledge, prediction, and control. But humans, you combine hope, courage, and reasoning. Perhaps that is why you can achieve so much, even when the odds are against you." Their discussions gradually built mutual respect. Alex was learning not only about Letherian culture and technology, but also about leadership, strategy, and diplomacy. And Zira, for her part, was learning about humanity's unique strengths, the adaptability, determination, and creativity that allowed them to survive and thrive in ways her people rarely could. One day, Zira led Alex to a chamber filled with holographic star maps showing distant galaxies and uncharted regions of space. She gestured toward a sector of the galaxy that humans had yet to explore. "This region has challenges no Letherian has faced," she said. "It is dangerous, unpredictable, but humans, you might be able to navigate it successfully. Your species thrives in uncertainty. Perhaps you could lead explorations where others fail." Alex felt a surge of excitement. To be trusted with such responsibility was extraordinary. "I would do my best, Your Majesty," he said. "Humans can adapt and learn quickly. We are willing to face the unknown if it can benefit knowledge and progress." Zira studied him, silently for a long moment. Then, almost as if she had made a decision, she said, "Very well. I see potential in you, and in your kind. But potential must be proven through action, understanding, and wisdom. There will be challenges ahead, Alex. Many will test you, but I believe humans can rise to the occasion." As the days passed, Alex's reputation among the Letherians grew. Some were impressed by his intelligence and adaptability, others wary of his influence. He noticed subtle resistance from certain advisors, who questioned whether a human should be allowed to participate in such advanced discussions. But Zira's trust in him remained unwavering. Her approval provided protection, allowing him to act with confidence and integrity. Alex also began to understand that the Queen herself was testing humans not with danger or trials, but by providing opportunities to demonstrate their qualities. She observed, listened, and challenged him with questions and problems, allowing him to show that humans could be clever, courageous, and compassionate. One evening, after a long day of discussions and experiments, Alex walked alone through the palace corridors. He reflected on everything he had learned. The Queen's attention was not casual. It carried intention, respect, and curiosity. She valued his insight, not because it served her, but because it revealed the potential of humanity. For the first time, Alex truly understood that humans, though often underestimated, had qualities that even the most advanced civilizations could admire and learn from. Courage, adaptability, hope, and creativity. These were not just traits, but tools. Tools that could inspire, challenge, and improve the galaxy itself. And somewhere deep within the palace, Zira watched him with quiet interest. She had seen his intelligence, his reasoning, and his courage. She had begun to realize that humans were more than simple beings. They were capable of achieving greatness, and perhaps even reshaping her understanding of the universe. As Alex prepared for sleep, he felt a mixture of pride and responsibility. The challenges ahead would be greater than any he had faced. But he was ready. Humanity had been underestimated for centuries. Yet here, in the presence of the alien queen, he had shown that humans could rise above expectations, and this was only the beginning. The days in the palace were exciting but tense. Alex had become an unexpected presence among the Letherians. While many admired his intelligence and courage, a few advisors and officials viewed him with suspicion. They whispered among themselves, questioning why the queen trusted a human so deeply. Some even argued that humans were unpredictable and could not be allowed to influence the decisions of Letheria. Alex sensed the tension but remained focused. He had learned that humans succeeded not through fear, but through calm observation, reason, and action. He continued working alongside the queen, solving complex problems, studying technology, and exploring philosophical ideas. Yet, he could feel that eyes followed him when no one seemed to be watching. One afternoon, while reviewing a series of energy maps with Leah Rem, Alex noticed something unusual. Certain patterns in the distribution grids seemed to have been tampered with, not by accident, but deliberately. "Liarum," he whispered, pointing at the panels. "Look at this. Someone may be trying to destabilize the grids. The errors are too precise to be mistakes." Liarum's eyes widened. "That is troubling. If true, it could be sabotage. But who would risk angering the queen?" Alex's instincts told him it was not random. Someone among the court feared human influence, or perhaps feared what the queen might do if humans proved themselves capable. Alex knew he had to act carefully. Alerting the queen too soon could make the conspirators more cautious. Waiting too long could allow them to succeed. That evening, Alex returned to the royal gardens. The bioluminescent plants glowed softly in the twilight, and the air carried the faint scent of unknown flowers. Queen Zira appeared, sending the guards away as usual. "Alex," she said, her tone calm but curious, "you have been observing carefully. Tell me what you have noticed in the palace." Alex considered his words carefully. "Your Majesty, I believe some members of the court are planning to undermine human influence. There may be attempts to sabotage systems or create situations that make humans appear weak or untrustworthy. I have noticed unusual patterns in the energy grids and strange inconsistencies in reports. I do not yet know who, but I am watching closely." Zira's eyes narrowed slightly, not in anger, but in thought. "That is troubling. Many in my court resist change, even when it is beneficial. Humans have proven themselves clever, adaptable, and brave. And yet, there are those who fear what they cannot control. I must admit, I did not anticipate sabotage." Alex felt a surge of determination. "Your Majesty, humans have qualities your people may overlook: adaptability, courage, creativity, and honesty. We also observe, reason, and act when necessary. If the conspirators attempt something, I can help reveal it before it becomes dangerous." Zira regarded him silently, then nodded. "Very well. Your human abilities will be tested, Alex. But I trust you. The Queen's trust can protect you, but only if you act wisely." Over the next few days, Alex worked quietly. He analyzed data, reviewed reports, and observed court members closely. He noticed subtle behaviors: a whisper here, a secret meeting there, unusual adjustments in machinery. Slowly, patterns emerged, revealing the group attempting to manipulate outcomes. It became clear that they wanted to embarrass humans, hoping to convince the Queen that humans were unreliable and dangerous. One night, Alex followed a small group of advisors who had been meeting secretly. They discussed the Queen's plans and how they might sabotage a system demonstration scheduled for the next day. Alex realized that timing was critical. He had to act before the demonstration, or humans would lose the trust they had worked so hard to earn. The next morning, the palace was bustling. Advisors and scientists prepared for the demonstration, unaware that Alex had already predicted the sabotage. As the Queen arrived, he quietly approached the control panels. When the conspirators attempted to trigger their plan, Alex's quick adjustments prevented any malfunction. The system worked perfectly, and the demonstration was a success. Zira observed the event closely. Her eyes glimmered with satisfaction as she turned to Alex. "You anticipated the problem," she said softly. "Your observation, reasoning, and courage have protected the integrity of this demonstration. Humans are indeed remarkable." The conspirators froze, realizing that their plan had been exposed. Some whispered excuses, while others tried to maintain composure, but their failure was clear. Zira's presence alone ensured that their influence would diminish. Later, in the quiet of the royal gardens, Zira sent her guards away again and invited Alex to walk with her. The moonlight reflected off the crystal paths, creating a serene and almost magical atmosphere. "Alex," she said, her voice thoughtful, "humans are clever, courageous, and adaptable. But you have also shown another important quality: wisdom. You act carefully, observe patiently, and anticipate consequences. That is why you succeed where others fail." Alex bowed slightly, feeling both pride and humility. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only try to do what is right, to protect those who trust me, and to show what humans can achieve." The Queen studied him for a long moment. "You have done more than I expected. Not only have you prevented sabotage, but you have also shown that humans can be trusted to act with intelligence and integrity. That is rare, Alex. Very rare." Alex felt a surge of purpose. This was more than personal recognition. It was a validation of humanity itself. Humans had been underestimated by many civilizations, but here, on Lotharia, his actions had proven that they could be courageous, clever, and trustworthy. "You see, Alex," Zira continued, "it is not only skill that earns respect, but courage, honesty, and persistence. Many beings possess intelligence, but few combine it with integrity and adaptability. Humans, your kind excels in all three." Alex realized the truth of her words. His species had survived countless challenges on Earth, facing uncertainty, danger, and adversity. They had thrived not through brute strength, but through creativity, courage, and hope. And now, in the eyes of one of the most advanced civilizations, that potential was being recognized and respected. For the first time, Alex felt that humans were not just a species struggling to survive among the stars. They were capable of inspiring admiration, trust, and partnership with beings far more advanced. As the night deepened and the glowing plants of the gardens cast a soft light, Zira spoke one final time. "Alex, humans have qualities that cannot be measured by technology, strength, or experience alone. You have shown ingenuity, courage, and wisdom. You have earned the respect of Lotharia. And perhaps one day your kind will inspire others as you have inspired me." Alex bowed deeply, feeling both honored and determined. "I will continue to represent humanity with courage and wisdom, Your Majesty. I promise to honor the trust you have placed in me." Zira nodded, her eyes shining with quiet approval. "Very well. Rest now, Alex. The future will bring further tests, but I am confident that humans can rise to meet them. Remember this: Courage, intelligence, and hope are your greatest tools. As Alex returned to his chamber, he reflected on the events of the past days. He had faced hidden threats, anticipated danger, and acted with care and wisdom. Through these actions, he had demonstrated the strengths of humanity, adaptability, courage, creativity, and integrity. And somewhere within the palace, Queen Zira watched him, aware that this human was more than a visitor. He was a spark of possibility, a living example of what humans could achieve, and a reminder that even ordinary beings could accomplish extraordinary things. The palace of Letheria was calm in the early morning light. Alex stood on a balcony overlooking the glowing city, reflecting on all that had happened. In just a few weeks, he had experienced wonders, faced challenges, and gained the trust of Queen Zira herself. What had started as a mission to observe and assist had grown into something far greater, a chance to demonstrate the strength, courage, and ingenuity of humanity to an advanced civilization. Today was the day of the Grand Assembly, an event held once every decade. Leaders, scholars, and dignitaries from across Letheria would gather to witness new discoveries, innovations, and achievements. Queen Zira had requested Alex's presence, signaling that humanity's role was about to be recognized before the entire court. As Alex entered the assembly hall, the sheer scale of the gathering overwhelmed him. Thousands of Letherians filled the vast chamber, each glowing softly in their natural bioluminescent patterns. Holographic displays floated above the crowd, showing the achievements of Letheria, the history of the planet, and its most recent innovations. At the center stood Queen Zira, her golden-green eyes focused on him as he approached. "Alex," she said, her voice clear and commanding. "Today, your actions, your intelligence, and your courage will be acknowledged, not only by me, but by all of Letheria." Alex felt his pulse quicken. He had worked hard to demonstrate humanity's strengths, but being recognized before the entire planet was extraordinary. He took a deep breath, reminding himself that humans had survived countless challenges through creativity, adaptability, and determination. Today, he would show that those qualities mattered, even on an alien world. The Queen gestured for him to step forward. "Citizens of Letheria," she announced, her voice echoing through the chamber. "Today, we honor one who has proven that courage, intelligence, and hope are not limited to Letherians. This human, Alex of Earth, has shown remarkable insight, wisdom, and bravery. His actions have protected our systems, revealed hidden threats, and demonstrated that humans can contribute greatly to knowledge and progress." A wave of murmurs swept through the assembly. Many Letherians were intrigued, some skeptical, but most were impressed. Alex felt a surge of pride tempered by humility. He knew that what mattered was not personal glory, but the recognition of humanity's potential. The Queen continued, "He has shown that even beings from distant, unfamiliar worlds can possess qualities that inspire and protect. Humans are adaptable, resourceful, and courageous. They think creatively, act wisely, and show integrity even in difficult situations. Today we acknowledge that humanity deserves respect and trust." Alex bowed deeply, overwhelmed but honored. "Thank you, Your Majesty," he said. "I speak not only for myself, but for all humans. We have faced many challenges, yet we endure, adapt, and learn. It is our hope, our courage, and our determination that guide us, and it is my honor to demonstrate these qualities here on Letheria." The assembly erupted in applause, some Letherians cheering, others nodding thoughtfully. Even the skeptics could not ignore the impact of Alex's presence and achievements. His actions had spoken louder than words, showing that humans could earn respect through intelligence, courage, and integrity. After the assembly, the Queen invited Alex to walk with her through the palace gardens. The air was filled with the soft glow of bioluminescent plants, and the faint hum of floating creatures added a peaceful rhythm. "You have exceeded my expectations, Alex," Zira said quietly. "You have shown that humans are capable of extraordinary things. Not only do you think quickly and act wisely, but you also inspire confidence and hope. That is rare in the galaxy." Alex smiled humbly. "I have learned much from Letheria, Your Majesty, but I have also realized that humanity's greatest strength lies not in knowledge alone, but in our courage, creativity, and determination. Even in the face of the unknown, we try, we learn, and we persevere." The Queen studied him thoughtfully. "Indeed, that is why I have chosen to trust you. Humans are often underestimated, yet you have proven that even a single individual can make a difference. Perhaps one day your kind will contribute not only to your own world, but to the galaxy as a whole." Alex felt a surge of purpose. The recognition he had received was not merely personal. It represented humanity itself. For centuries, humans had been seen as primitive by many advanced civilizations. But here, in the presence of the most intelligent and powerful beings he had ever met, humanity's value and potential were acknowledged. "You have shown me something important, Alex," the Queen said softly. "Humans combine intellect, courage, and hope in ways that Letherians rarely do. That is why I believe your kind can achieve greatness beyond your current understanding. Your actions remind me that even the smallest spark can ignite remarkable change." Alex reflected on her words. It was true. Humans had survived countless challenges on Earth, often in situations that seemed impossible. They had adapted to harsh environments, solved problems creatively, and persevered through adversity. Those qualities, he realized, were universal. They could inspire others, even beings far more advanced than humans. As the night deepened, Alex returned to his chamber, the city of Letheria glowing softly below. He thought about all he had experienced, the challenges, the lessons, the recognition, and the trust placed in him by the Queen. He understood that this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown worlds and civilizations, and humans had a place in it. For the first time, Alex felt a profound sense of responsibility and hope. Humanity had potential that reached far beyond Earth, and he had played a small role in proving it. Courage, intelligence, adaptability, and hope were not just traits. They were tools that could shape the future, bridge civilizations, and inspire progress. Somewhere within the palace, Queen Zira watched the city below, her expression thoughtful and calm. She had seen humans at their best through Alex, and she recognized that they were capable of achievements even Letherians could admire. She knew that humans with their courage and ingenuity might one day change the galaxy in ways she could only imagine. As Alex gazed at the glowing horizon, he felt a sense of peace and determination. He had proven that humans could earn respect, face challenges with intelligence and courage, and inspire even the most advanced civilizations. His journey on Letheria had shown that humanity's potential was limitless, and that even in the face of the unknown, humans could shine brightly. And in that moment, Alex understood the truth of what he had always known deep inside. Humans were extraordinary, not because they were the strongest or the fastest, but because they persevered, learned, and hoped. And that, he realized, was a power no alien technology or wisdom could surpass. The palace of Letheria glowed beneath him, peaceful and radiant. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, discoveries, and opportunities. But tonight, Alex allowed himself a moment of quiet pride. He had proven the strength of humanity, earned the respect of the most powerful queen in the galaxy, and reminded the universe that humans, though ordinary in some ways, could achieve greatness beyond imagination. And Somewhere in the quiet of the palace, Queen Zyra smiled, knowing that humanity had earned a place among the stars.